What if I told you that the thing you've been defending the hardest is actually the thing holding you back from your next level of growth? Stay with me. Welcome, sassy friend. I'd like to tell you something because around here, we don't skip the important parts. This episode has no script, and that terrifies me. So let's talk about that. I'm trying something new because of something that came about during a networking event. If you're a YouTube subscriber and you're watching this, you will notice me glancing at something which is actually an outline with some notes. Because even though I'm not using a script, I definitely want to make sure that I get my message across in a timely manner without this lasting 3 hours. If you know me, you know that I can talk for a very long time. And before we go any further, I see you. I know you're here, and I think that this episode is going to hit a little different. So my question to you is, have you ever been called out on something and immediately wanted to defend yourself? Because this story I'm going to share is exactly that. I have a colleague who is also a previous coach of mine who offers these monthly networking events. And this current one was about podcasting. And I thought, oh, this really lit me up. I love hearing what others have to say about their podcasts, and I want to be there to support and encourage newbies who may have questions. So while we were talking, one of the women asked if we use a script or do we just show up spontaneously. So for me, I was very proud to say I show up with a script. It is a part of how my mind processes things. So I felt that was cool. And another seasoned podcaster had said she's very spontaneous. So now we have two women who are doing things differently and have some advice to share. After we both shared that, the facilitator had said to me, I can always tell you're using a script. Because she has worked with me, we have worked through some of these things, so she definitely could tell I was using a script. She also has told me that sometimes when I show up on social media, I don't feel as relaxed. She's not wrong. And what she asked me to do was very hard to hear. She asked if maybe I could try using an outline instead. And just like that, my walls immediately went up. I became very defensive. And maybe you know that feeling too. Someone points something out and every part of you wants to say, no, you're wrong. I'm fine. But are you though? Like, are you really fine? Or are you just really good at defending your comfort zone? I felt that I had a really good reason for doing things the way that I do them. It's actually, my way, right? Like, I wanted to get my point across that my way was the only way that was going to work for me. And I felt that so deep in my soul that I became triggered. I shared my ADHD brain, my neurodivergent brain, my squirrel brain that goes off on tangents without a structure. And as I was sharing this, I could just feel my body shutting down. And while I was sharing it, it also wasn't a lie. That was real and valid and true. But, and this is the part I want you to sit with, how many times have you used a really good reason to avoid a really uncomfortable growth moment. As I've said to previous clients, it's about getting out of your comfort zone. And in that moment, I thought, shit, I'm defending something that I know I should be open to. I don't know why I felt triggered. Now, good reasons are real, and sometimes they're also a hiding place. I was hiding behind a very legitimate, very real, very valid excuse. My question is, where are you hiding right now? Behind what good reason? So what I did next is what any reasonable woman would do. I went looking for backup. Like, I really wanted someone to validate how I felt in that moment, in that networking event. So I sent a voice note to my coach. I worked with her one-on-one, and I'm actually working with her in a group coaching atmosphere where we do a lot of journaling and unravel stories that we tell ourselves or even stories that have happened in our life. And I thought, oh, she is like the perfect person I could talk to. She's going to listen to me and validate me. And when I shared with her all of my experience, she said, what if you looked at this as an opportunity to stretch and grow? What the fuck? Like, what? Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. I don't want to stretch and grow. I want to do it my way. I want to do the podcast my way. I don't want someone else to be right. I want to be right. So after I listened to her voice note, I responded, and I went on to talk to my accountability partners. These two women, we meet together weekly. We talk about all things. And I thought, oh, I just know. Oh, man, I can unload and dump on them. And man, I'm going to feel so good after talking to them. What did they say? Trust yourself and do what feels good. Wait a minute. Trust myself? I'm not even sure I know how to trust myself. All I want is to be able to read my script and everybody say, amazing job, Cherie. I love your podcast. You sound so natural. You're so spontaneous. All the things. I'm not getting that. So now 2 out of 3 options have now failed for me. And then I made the fatal mistake of telling my husband. I spent the next hour, okay, it may have just been 15 minutes, but as I'm like unloading, it felt like forever. I laid out every single conversation, waiting for him to say, you're right, don't do it. Like, then don't do it. Like, just sit down, read the script, and be whoever you want to be. And instead, what did he say? What if you did a trial run without a script? Wait, what the actual fuck? I felt myself clamming up immediately. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? Why isn't anyone on my side? Now, when I look back on it, they were on my side. They truly were. From the facilitator offering something different to my coach who's saying, hey, let's stretch and grow. She actually created one of her offers by working with a business coach who said, let's stretch and grow. She told me in that voice note, I didn't want to do it either. I just was so upset. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. And in that moment, when she told me that, I'm like, oh, she is on my side, but she's not. She's supporting me and encouraging me. And yes, she's on my side, but she's also pushing me a little bit. So through all of this, I was thinking, what is going on? Why is everyone else telling me something different? I had to sit with that. I really had to sit with that because my ego was saying one thing. And then this part of me that really needed to comprehend or process in my own brain is, what is going on here? What is going on? Why don't I want to try this? So, have you ever gone person to person looking for the one who would finally validate your resistance? And instead, every single person pointed you in the same direction. That's not a coincidence, my friend. That's called a sign. You may not want to admit it, but it actually is. So, here's what I know about you. You've been here before, just like me. Someone challenged you, you resisted, you defended, you justified everything that I did. And somewhere beneath all of that resistance was a version of you that already knew they were right. I knew that. After having the conversation with my husband, it clicked in my brain that they were right. And I'm sitting here doing this unscripted. I didn't want her, them, him to be right, because then that meant I had to grow. And growing is uncomfortable. The stretching, bucking hurts. Doing the thing you've been avoiding is scary. But here's what my coach said that stopped me cold. The best thing she ever created came from the moment she stretched when she didn't want to. That hit. Because I've been avoiding so many things in my life, which is for many other podcast episodes. And when I sit with that, and I was curling my hair, and I'm putting on my makeup, and I'm starting a fresh day, I think about the moments that I'm not stretching myself, that I am being super careful about what I say or what I do. And I've noticed that I do that because there is a part of me that wants this to be perfect. I want to show up here and be in a certain amount of time that you can listen to it and then move on. And the message hit quick. You can process it and move on. And the reality is that doesn't always happen, right? Like sometimes we have a message that is longer, and I need to remember that. Getting back to my outline, because I feel myself going a little bit off tangent here. So where in your life are you resisting something because it feels scary or hard? What are you defending that might actually be your next breakthrough? So through all of this, I had to get really honest with myself. I'm building a business about women showing up fully, unapologetically, authentically, without performing. And here I was, performing, even on my podcast, hiding behind my script, defending my comfort zone, calling it neurodivergence, when really it was about fear. Fear of sounding messy, fear of going off topic, fear of not being enough without any safety net. That's scary. I have been on stage before, and I read from those notes. It was my own personal story. I didn't need those notes. But there's something about being in front of people and having something written down that helps you feel powerful and like you have your shit together. So often we're told in this business world that we need to be an expert at something. That is where we build the business. I am an expert at so many things. And when I stood up on that stage sharing my personal story of domestic abuse, I could have actually been up there with my eyes closed, but I had a script. Here I am doing the scary thing. And I'm doing the scary thing. And my question is, where are you still performing? Where are you doing things scary, but you're hiding behind something for fear that you may make a mistake? Where are you showing up as the polished version instead of the real version? My polished version is using a script. The real version is me here today sharing my truth and my message. And I have to be honest, I'm actually liking this. And damn it, I hate saying that because again, I want to be right. And where are you letting fear dress itself up as a really good reason? I have talked about my ADHD brain, being a highly sensitive person, being neurodivergent, being in domestic abuse situations, growing up in a household that was chaotic. I have used fear as my reason. The reason for all the things that I just shared. So that I don't have to show up real, vulnerable, and maybe someone's going to judge me. That's scary. So I made a decision, not because they told me to, not to prove anything, although in that event, I did actually tell the facilitator, I'm going to do it and I'm going to call you out. I'm going to tag you. I'm going to make sure you know that you made me do this. That is proving energy. I don't want proving energy. I don't want to win. I want this to be a learning lesson to me so that in turn I can share that with you. And what I've realized is if I'm asking you to stretch and grow and show up fully, I have to be willing to do it first. I have to practice what I preach. And so do you, my friend. What I'm realizing through just this, it's not even been a week since this has happened. I'm realizing that this next level of our lives, they're sitting right on the other side of the thing that we've been avoiding. The thing we've been defending, the thing we've been justifying, the thing that makes us want to find 17 people to agree with us. Just agree with us. That thing, that's where our growth is. So here I am, unscripted, with an outline and notes, imperfect, stretching. I'm holding my outline instead of my safety net. Showing up anyway, messy and real and terrified, like I seriously have beads of sweat on my forehead. I can feel the nervousness, and when I'm finished here, it's going to feel good to take off my headset and go run into my husband and tell him I did the thing and stand underneath a fan to cool myself off. And I'm showing up not because I had to, because I decided my growth was worth the discomfort. And so is yours. So I want to ask one question before I go. What is the one thing you've been resisting that might actually be your next breakthrough? Sit with that. Get curious about it, and then do the scary thing. That is your permission slip, my sassy, wonderful, fabulous, brave, courageous friend. She never left, and neither did you. I'm Cherie, your sassy confidant, and I'm here when you're ready to stop performing. I'll see you next time, and I'm pretty sure that I will be doing an outline versus a script, because sharing this with you made me feel safe. Even though you're not sitting here beside me physically, I can already feel the energy of you cheering me on and telling me that I did a great job. Thank you for being here with me with the first time on my podcast, doing it scared, being fearless, and reminding myself that I can do scary and hard things. And that's where we'll land today. I hope something in this episode made you feel a little braver, a little clearer, a little more like you. Because that's all this is, really. Me sitting with you, reminding you that your voice matters. Your feelings make sense, and you don't have to shrink yourself to fit into anyone else's comfort zone. Not anymore. If today's episode stirred something in you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. She's out there waiting for exactly this. And if you're ready to be heard, not fixed, not coached, not advised, just heard, you know where to find me. I'm Cherie Faus-Smith. This is Own Your Sass. And sassy friend, you belong here.